Hey everybody, another thing. You see I'm in the same shirt. I've made a few videos. So you're probably watching my videos because you either started a pooper scooper business, you're in the pooper scooper business, or you just follow me in general. The thing I want to talk about today is initials, first starts. Let me tell you how I did it. The first 50, I just did it for the weekly price. Nobody knew who I was in town. I didn't have a name. It took me, I think, 2 or 3 months to get those first 50 customers. Word of mouth. I was working 4 jobs. Well, sort of, I had a day job doing pest control. I had a night job doing courier work, which was a 4 or 5 hour thing. And then on Saturdays, I had a line haul that went about 2.5 hours away from here. I drove there and back. And then on the side, I also did freelancing. I did photography stuff for real estate stuff. It was quick and easy, outside photo houses, submit them, easy $10. It wasn't like professional going in taking photos. But either way, initial. So like the first 40 or 50, I think it was maybe like 50. I don't remember exactly when I started charging. I did it for the initial. Our one dog price back then was $12. So I went out there for $12, and man, I got hammered. But the customers are like, man, he's dedicated. Like, a lot of them were like, well, I don't know if he'll ever come back. Well, next week I came back. Then I kept coming back and kept coming back and kept coming back. And they're like, oh, crap, he's for real. I was like, this was side hustle money for me. I never expected it to be over 1,000 customers. I never expected to have 10 people in the field, have 2 people in the office, have a big office that I'm working out of because, well, I got bumped out of my office at the house and had a baby. The nursery's now the office. And I'm trying to remember exactly how I did it, but after that point, I started charging a little bit more for the first scoop. Now, this being said, I never was one of those that went out to the house, looked at it, talked to them. I just looked at the size of the property, did kind of an average. So I would add $10, $15, $20, depending on how big it was after that. And we did that for a while, and then traction started hitting and people started knowing us, and people were calling us. Well, now demand's gone up. And I want to say we went to 35 or 40 for a long time. And then we went to 45 a couple years ago. And so we were at $45 for the initial, and then the next week you roll into your normal price. It's not 45 plus the 12 or anything like that. It was just a $45 to get started. And then the other thing that was kind of hurting us in the beginning, when I started hiring people, was I didn't ask for the first service up front. This was a little difficult for me of asking for the money. And I could definitely see in the numbers now, because in the last couple years, you put your deposits your first one. We close about 70% of them now. Versus, before they're like, oh, you're not going to charge us? Come on. And then I would say about 1 to 2% of those would run and we never get the money for it. Or we were spending time just chasing them down. Now, so last summer, summers are always kind of dry. We just don't get a lot of sales. So what we ended up doing was we dropped it to $29.99 for the initial, and we dropped, $1 off of our prices. I think our one dog last summer was $11.99 or $12. It's $14.99 right now. I mean, we've had gas was getting to $5. I was upping what I was having to pay my scoopers. The ones that were in their own cars, I had to shell out more money. I mean, they were spending more gas. I mean, it just, and I didn't raise anybody's prices, but things kind of, we leveled out to maybe 10 a month. During the winter months is when we get busy. We get 60 to 70. Our record month, I think, was like 93 in 1 month. And that's when I pushed marketing hard. I haven't really pushed marketing hard. We did hit that 1,000 number about a month ago. So I kind of like where we're at, but having so many jobs, there's a lot of quality issues. There's 10 scoopers in the field, and it's hard to keep everybody on the same page. You would think it's simple, but everybody decides to do what, they want to do, I guess. I mean, they're So I have to kind of keep them in line. And, so back to the initials. So that was our summer. And then I've watched when our busy season is. We get busy and then we die down. We get busy and then we die down. Well, we're getting out of our busy season now. We're going back into our slower season. Right now, we're doing 1 and 2 dogs for $39.99 for initial, and then $49.99 for a 3 and 4 dog, and then it goes up from there. And then, of course, that's for an average quarter-acre yard. If they've got a bigger yard, we live in a city here. In this city, all the yards are pretty much cut and dry. We get on Google and we look at each house. We click the little points to see what if this is the backyard, to make sure we're in that quarter-acre, average yard size. I'm not too sure when we'll go back down, as the cost of bags have doubled in the last couple years. Our sanitation has doubled in the last couple years. As we've had to buy more vehicles, we're not getting the interest rates we used to. They're a lot higher. And obviously we don't buy brand new because of what we do. Insurances went up. My workman's comps went up. My general liability hasn't gone up, but I've never had to use it in the 6 years. So it actually went down a couple years ago. But, if you're a new business and, you're hungry and you want to get out there, I wouldn't give away free services, but I would waive the initial. Just tell them, hey, look, we're a new business. Try us out. We're going to waive the initial. It's a, $29, initial. And we're just going to charge you for the first, what the first week is. And what I was saying when we didn't charge that, as I brought employees on, at the time I was paying commission to my employees, which was fine. And they loved it. But I always had all these initials we did. I didn't have the money for them yet to be able to pay them out. So I was paying it out twice a month, kind of current. So that was my fault. That was a business blunder 101 that I should have been like, okay, here's the 2 weeks. All right. And go another 2 weeks. And then that's when you're paid out for that. Or when I get, people pay their bills sporadically. We didn't do auto pay at the time either. Now we require auto pay. There's very few people that sign up now that it's a card on file or nothing. If you're a habitual person that doesn't pay your bill, you're on prepaid. You have to prepay a month in advance now. We have a few of those. I'm trying to think what our run rate is. I think in January, as of January invoices, we only have one that owes. And I think on February, there's maybe 5 people that owe us. And then we're still collecting on March's stuff right now. We got about 200 or so that don't have a card on file. That's just the way it's always been. That was how we started our business. It was, you're going to trust me, I'm going to trust you. But there's a certain point when they don't pay the bill, you've got to cut them off. That's just, you have to cut them off. I know it's hard. I've had a few friends of mine I've had to cut off. And that's a hard thing to do. I'll tell you, that's the worst thing you ever have to do is cutting a friend off or firing somebody. And then if you bring family and stuff onto it and they're just a crappy scooper, that is the hardest thing to fire them. I've had to fire my daughter, okay? My 17-year-old daughter I had to fire. Of course, I've given her a second chance, and she's doing a lot better now. But it's a business. There's a lot of money in this. If people are going to laugh at you, they're going to say it's stupid. They're going to say it's dumb. Well, I've got a bunch of names, a bunch of people you can talk to right now that tell you, we're living the life. This is the laziest, easiest job there ever was. I could do so much more, but I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with the money I'm making. I've delegated responsibilities out to people now, and I'm able to spend time with my wife and kids. I got a 2-year-old and a 17-year-old. I don't see the 17-year-old much, but the 2-year-old seems to stick around a lot. Apparently, you're supposed to feed them a couple times a day. This poor boy eats me out of house and home, so I'm here to feed him. That's all I am, is I'm his snack dealer. I just give him food all day. But initials, if you want to get out there and just show who you are, just tell them, hey, look, I'm going to waive the initial. First 5, 10, we're going to waive it. But I would put a speculation in there saying, look, if I'm in your yard for more than, say 30 or 40 minutes because it's bad, then we may have to tack a little more on. And then just pick up the phone or knock on the customer's door and say, hey, look, what would you like to do? Look, this, when you show them you pulled out 8 bags already in 30 minutes, they're going to go be like, oh, man. They're like, yeah. And then it needs to go to a custom hourly charge, say, hey, look, an extra $20, and then we can get the rest, or, see what they want to do, or see if they want to work on it over the next couple weeks. You come out, you set a 15 minutes, you scoop, and then you leave on 15 minutes if it's that bad. So this video got long. Initials, definitely charge them. Try to get the deposits up front, because if you start hiring people, you're going to need that cash flow. Also, if you're doing a billing system, I would highly suggest, if you're going to make if you're looking to just let it grow like I did, get your bills, try to get some people on the 1st and some people on the 15th. Jobber allows you to do it. I'm pretty sure Yardbook allows you to do it. Sweep and Go, I'm pretty sure allows you to do it. But this will help you with cash flow when you start hiring people. Because I've got, like 700 people on the 15th. And I've got maybe, the rest of them on the 1st. So like all my money comes in. It's probably like 800 on the 15th, actually. It's probably around 800. Because that's the big chunk of my money. So have a good night.